Welcome back, everybody. It's Zach here, bringing you guys another fantasy football video. We're through 3 weeks here, so we're about a quarter of the way through the generally standard regular season in fantasy football. We've learned a lot here through 3 weeks, and I think there's still a lot of stuff that we're going to learn over the next several weeks. But it's going to be really important to make sure we keep making our rosters improve over the course of the season. Waivers are a big part of that, especially when you have injuries and stuff throughout the course of the year. And we sort of really did get hit by the injury bug here in week 3, so a lot of things are going to open up here. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for some guys to be uh, real contributors for us going forward. So I think this is one of the best weeks for waivers, actually. A lot of names that I think have a lot of value. A couple guys I won't talk about just because they're pretty highly rostered, but like Cam Scatabo stands out. He should absolutely be rostered if he's not already. Then Jake Ferguson, not going to make this list because he was too heavily rostered, but if for whatever reason he's out there, go get him because as long as you've got CD out for the next several weeks, you're going to definitely get a lot of value out of him. So those two guys for sure didn't make the list, but should be rostered if they're not. And yeah, I'm going to go position by position, just go through which guys I think I'd be looking to add this week. And then, of course, if you guys do have any specific ad drop questions, just let me know in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys there. It's part of what makes this so fun for me. So, yeah, let's just get into it, guys. We're going to start off with the quarterback position here. I'm going to start things off with Marcus Mariota. I know that's kind of gross, but if he happens to be the starting quarterback again this week, I think he's going to be relatively valuable for you guys. He gets a matchup with Atlanta in week 4 that does not scare me at all. We just saw the Panthers hang a 30-burger on them. The Panthers are not a very good team. And fun stat here, Marcus Mariota has been a top 10 fantasy quarterback 3 times over the last year, despite starting only 1 game. So 3 top 10 finishes despite 1 start. So pretty fun there. That's also more top 10 finishes than CJ Stroud. Sorry, CJ Stroud, you caught a stray there. But Mariota's been pretty good. He's mobile. You could definitely start Mariota if he starts. So he's definitely at least a good 1-week fill-in here. Geno Smith has not really played well at all this season, but he's definitely racked up some garbage time. This defense for Vegas is just absolutely horrendous, right? So they're getting up a lot of points. They play Chicago this week. Chicago's offense seems to be taking a step forward. Chicago defense isn't really very scary either. Like without Jalen Johnson, they're not a very top tier secondary. You can definitely take advantage of it. There are some weapons in this Raiders offense. I think Geno Smith is still a good stream. And then if he's rostered or unrostered, which he could be, he could even get dropped this week because of how disappointing he's been. But Jordan Love is a fantastic matchup this week against Dallas. Just start your quarterbacks against Dallas. Russ went for 450 and 3. Didn't look very good in week 3 right after that. And then you had Caleb Williams, who was struggling, go into Dallas or host Dallas this week and put up his best game of the year. So let's just start our quarterbacks against Dallas until they prove us wrong. So it's a good move there. Next up, we've got the running back position here, and of course, we've got the obvious one. Trey Benson is going to be a priority add on waivers. You have the really devastating injury there to James Conner. Sounds like it's going to be a season-ending ankle injury for him. I really hope he can come back. He's been one of my favorite players to watch for a long time. That at his age too, it's really tough because you never know if he's going to be able to make it back. Really towards ever being fantasy relevant again, but rest of the year, Trey Benson's the starter. You've got Amari DiMercado there as well. I don't really think DiMercado is going to have any fantasy value, but Benson has looked good so far. Should be like a low-end running back too, at least going forward. And as a guy you can start if you have to. I don't think he's going to go out there and be a beast or anything, but should be involved enough that he could, definitely be a starter on a weekly basis. Ollie Gordon seems like he's more and more likely to just get that Raheem Mostert role in this offense. He's going to have short yardage. Clearly not going to catch a lot of passes, right? So even though he looks good, you need him to score a touchdown basically to be relevant. I don't know how many touchdowns the Dolphins are going to be scoring going forward, but he should be rostered for sure. He's at least a premier handcuff. Woody Marks looks like the best back in Houston to me. I think they need to use him a lot more. This is an offense that's just really sputtering here. They're 0-3 with a really good defense, so that's not good at all if you're in Houston. I think Woody Marks is at least a path towards just getting more and more work, even without an injury. And it's not like he's got young guys ahead of him in Nick Chubb there. So Woody Marks should definitely be rostered in my mind, especially in a full PPR format. Bashal Tutin, probably rostered, but I still like him. Looked really good again this week. I know the touches weren't really there. Etienne wasn't very efficient. Scored a touchdown that the Texans let him score at the end of the game. So there's plenty of opportunity here. The Jaguars are 2-1, but their offense has certainly not looked like they want it to look like going forward. So there's a path there for Tutin to be relevant. Chris Rodriguez, I don't really buy into it, but he's one of 3 running backs that's going to get a lot of touches. I would still take him over Jeremy McNichols just because he's going to get more work. I know McNichols had the big play. Good for him, but I don't really see that continuing going forward. I don't really want anything to do with the Washington backfield. If you want one, it's still Bill, but I would sell high on Bilge because I don't really think the volume's going to be there. He made the sell high video last week. We saw him basically be a 1B to Chris Rodriguez this week. I know he had the goal line touchdown, but it's just going to be really gross and tough to project the Washington backfield going forward. Brashard Smith, he just, this Chiefs offense needs juice, right? They don't really have any in either Isaiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt. Pacheco seemed to run the wrong way on a screen pass that turned into what should have been like a fumble six for the Giants. Mahomes made a big play and prevented that. But like Pacheco did not look great. Kareem Hunt is ancient. This offense might just want to turn towards Brashard Smith because they don't have anything else. I wouldn't be shocked if they look to add another running back at the deadline or something. But like Brashard Smith right now at least seems like he's the most talented running back on this roster, just because I don't think the guys ahead of him have talent. So if you want to take that bet, get ahead of the curve. I think we could see more work for Smith going forward. Tyjae Spears, I'll mention him. He's almost back. Talented player. I've liked him every time I watch him play. So there's a path there. Pollard's still good. It's going to be a timeshare when he's back. But Spears, we've seen him be relevant if Pollard ever goes down. He's a guy that you could like sort of flex in a full PPR format if you had to. And then just, of course, all the usual handcuffs. Algier, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson was one of the guys that would have made this list last week. If you happen to have the handcuff and a starter gets hurt, you're going to get a huge boost to your roster. So if you got nothing else to do with your roster spot, just go on waivers, look for the best handcuff, and scoop them up and see what happens, because it does help your roster if the guy ahead of him goes down. Long list at wide receiver here, so I'm going to sort of shotgun approach this one. I'll start things off with two guys that were on the list last week that'll make it again, Troy Franklin and Alec Iamaner. Franklin, bad week 3, but he's still the clear wide receiver 2 in Denver. Bo Nix just hasn't looked good yet, but things are going to get better for them going forward. They get a great matchup against the Bengals in week 4. Franklin's got upside. You can still flex him if you have to. And, Bo Nix should be better going forward. He just has not looked good so far this season. If he does turn things around, you're going to see more production out of this whole passing offense. Alec Manor might just be the wide receiver 1 in Tennessee. Calvin Ridley has not looked good so far. Not that Tennessee's looked good on offense either, but he's a good player. He's a rookie. There's obviously more upside with him going forward, so he's a guy that should be rostered. Romeo Doubs, low-end flex option whenever you need him, but he's clearly involved in the offense, right? You've also got a great matchup this week against the Cowboys. If you need to flex Romeo Doubs, you could certainly do a lot worse than that. Darnell Mooney, probably my favorite out of the week. I know he was probably rostered, but a lot of people dropped him, and he just didn't do a whole lot in week 2 when he was back. So it's very possible that Mooney just sort of sat there on waivers. He was on waivers in one of my 12-team leagues. I picked him up right before the game started this last week. Didn't do anything in week 3 really either, because the whole Falcons offense was horrendous, but the dude had 11 targets. He's involved in the offense. He's a good player too. So like Mooney's a guy that I would feel okay flexing on a weekly basis if I had to, and he could just be sitting there on waivers, so he should be rostered for sure. Malik Washington, he's talented to me. They manufacture touches for him. I don't think he's a special player by any means, but I think he could sort of be like a Wan'Dale Robinson level player. And if they ended up trading Tyreek Hill or something, or if we had an injury there, he'd be pretty reliable in terms of like being a low end flex play every single week. So just seeing guys get manufactured touches, I think you could do a lot worse than Washington. Jalen Coker, the Panthers need him. He's nearing a return here. Should be back as soon as week 5. So you might just be holding him for 1 week. And again, like you had Xavier Legette not play this last week. It is Tedero McMillan and nobody else. Jatavian Sanders went down to an injury this last week. They're going to need Jalen Coker when he comes back. And he could be a guy that just surprises a little bit. So he should be rostered. Jordan Addison, it's possible he got dropped at some point. So just check for him. He's returning from a suspension this week. If you want to get really desperate, take a look at Demarcus Robinson, also returning from a 3-game suspension. There's no way I would throw Demarcus Robinson into my starting lineup right now, but Juwan Jennings is banged up. He should slot in and be the clear wide receiver 3, and you've obviously got Kittle out. I bet there will be a week or two this year where Demarcus Robinson ends up doing something, so just keep an eye on that. Christian Kirk, I really want to mention him. Looks to be the clear wide receiver 2 in Houston. They kind of need him because none of the rookies have stepped up yet. Neither Jalen Noel nor Jaden Higgins have really done anything just yet. And Christian Kirk was clearly involved in the offense right away, filling that slot role, basically filling the Stephon Diggs role this year right now. I think Christian Kirk's a guy you could flex if you had to. I know Houston looks horrendous on offense, but they're losing games. They should have to throw the ball more. I think you can play Christian Kirk if you have to. I don't love it, but guys that are going to get targeted, we know Christian Kirk's talented enough. I think he's a guy that should be rostered. Luther Burden, another big one. We know he's talented. Obviously, he came through with the big play here on the flea flicker. Not something that you're going to expect to just carry over going forward, but it's only a matter of time before he beats out Zacchaeus for the clear wide receiver 3 role in this offense. Then you had an injury to Colston Loveland. Things are clearing up just a little bit for him. DJ Moore sort of getting used as like a Debo sort of situation there, using him out of the backfield. Like Luther Burden's got an opportunity to potentially be more involved in this offense going forward, and he's a good player, so he should be rostered for sure. Just looks good on the field too to me. Like he looks a lot bigger on the field than he did in the preseason to me for some reason. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but he looks good. I think he's a guy that should be rostered. Christian Watson, just want to mention him. He'll be back at some point. Just a name to remember. There are a lot of reports been very positive about his injury. It's possible he's back a little bit earlier than people expect. The Packers gave him an extension already, so like they feel good enough about him at least to want him on the roster next year. He's a guy that I think could have some spike weeks going forward, so just keep an eye on him. And then Torrey Horton scored twice this week. Really nice catch in the corner of the end zone, and then had a punt return touchdown. He's a good player. We saw him sort of spike and flash in the preseason. Really just talented, had a lot of buzz all off season long. We're seeing that carry over a little bit into the regular season, and it just feels like a matter of time before he's the wide receiver 2 ahead of Cooper Kupp here. Good player. I know JSN's the clear 1, but Sam Darnold looks good. There are going to be some games the Seahawks are going to have to pass a little bit more, and then Torrey Horton could be like a flex-worthy asset, so just keep an eye on him. At tight end, I already mentioned it, but I didn't put him on this list explicitly. But if he's out there, Jake Ferguson is obviously the priority ad. For as long as CeeDee Lamb's out, that dude's going to get like 10 targets. He's had 12 and 14 targets each of the last 2 weeks, so super involved. Like Ferguson's going to be a PPR monster. Sooner or later, he's got to score a touchdown, right? So I like Ferguson for sure. If he's not available, Harold Fannin Jr., the playing time just keeps increasing. Not a great matchup last week, but he still caught 3 balls. Not that that's great, but like he's caught 3 passes in every single week so far this year. Like that's a pretty solid floor as far as tight ends go. Not a whole lot of touchdown upside. You probably want to play him in different matchups. They're manufacturing some touches for him, but like yeah, you could do worse than Harold Fannin for sure. Isaiah Likely, it's got to mention him. We know he's talented. We've seen him have some spike weeks before. Mark Andrews did ball out in week 3, so it's tough to get a read on Mark Andrews. Like I don't think I ever really want to trust him, but you could do worse. Likely he's going to have some spike weeks as well, just a guy that you need to monitor. Big one is Hunter Henry as well. Could honestly just be the leading target in New England all season long. I think it's not sexy. Nobody wants Hunter Henry to be the guy. Everyone was like excited about Kyle Williams, and maybe Stephon Diggs comes in, and maybe we get a Kayshon Boutte breakout season. But really, it could just be Hunter Henry being the guy all year long. He's talented. They clearly like him. He's got good chemistry with Drake May. I think Hunter Henry's a guy you could probably just play every single week if you had to. Chigga 6 targets in 2 straight weeks. I'm a big fan of his. I think he's a really good player. Can do a lot with not a lot just because he's a super athletic player as well. If this offense gets clicking a little bit, you get a little bit more touchdown upside. You could do worse than Chig on a weekly basis, so he's a guy just to keep in mind. And then Brenton Strange, seems to be the only guy along with Parker Washington that Trevor Lawrence can complete passes to right now. Looks pretty good on the field too. You could do a lot worse than just starting Brenton Strange and taking your 5 for 50, because that's honestly pretty good as far as tight ends go. And last, but certainly not least, especially if this last week is any indication with just how many defensive touchdowns we had. I had several of my fantasy matchups this week get decided by just how well my defense did versus my opponents. I lost a couple games because of it, won a couple games because of it. It's important to get these things right. I think we have a lot of really good options this week. The Vikings stand out. It's possible they are still available just because people were kind of scared of this Bengals matchup last week. They're a really good defense. Take a lot of chances, which you'd love to see for fantasy scoring as well. They get Pittsburgh this week in London, or no, it's in Dublin. Anyway, it's one of those international games. I'm pretty sure it's Dublin. Correct me if I'm wrong there in the comments, but yeah, it's in Dublin, and Pittsburgh doesn't scare me at all. Typically, we see these international games kind of just be a bit of clunkers too. These teams are jet lagged. They get over there. We just haven't really seen very many good football games over there. Generally means those defenses do pretty well. So you could honestly, on the flip side, play the Steelers defense if you wanted to. The Chargers, they get to play the Giants this week. It might be Jackson Dart. It might be Russ. Either way, the Chargers are probably going to shut the Giants down on offense. I feel pretty good about playing the Chargers here. The Commanders, decent defense, and they play Atlanta, who might just suck. Not that they're going to turn to Kirk Cousins or anything, but Michael Penix did not look good at all. Pick 6 was brutal. I don't think I really want to go there because you could get burned on that one. But the Commanders, it's not a bad matchup at all. The Bills get to play the Saints. Possible they're available because maybe people were worried about the Dolphins for some reason. The Lions probably are available because people probably didn't want to hold them for a matchup against the Ravens. Honestly, played pretty well against the Ravens. They get to play the Browns this next week. I'd feel fantastic about that. So they're a priority ad this week. The Texans, I know they're 0-3, but it's not the defense's fault. The defense is pretty good. They play the Titans. We can target the Titans every single week, so you could do a lot worse than that. Then the Broncos, really good defense, potentially available because they had the Chargers matchup this last week. They play the Bengals. I think the Bengals will do better than they did last week against the Vikings, but still might be really bad. Their offensive line is horrendous. Broncos have a really good pass rush, really good corner in Pat Surtain. You could easily see some turnovers and some sacks in that one. I feel good about Denver as my defense this week for sure. So that'll do it for the waiver wire this week. Of course, if you guys do have any specific add or drop questions, let me know in the comments below. I love interacting with you guys there. It's just a lot of fun for me to do that. On top of that, if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I put out 5 videos a week every single week. I'll be here all year long to help you guys win your championships. So if you want to make sure you keep getting future content like this, we've got the waiver video, we've got trade target videos, so I get buy lows and sell highs. And then I also get start sit videos, so I go through every single game every single week, tell you guys how to set your lineups, and I'll of course answer your questions in the comments and stuff like that. So if you want to make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far in the video, do give it a thumbs up, tell us you're out quite a bit, and I will catch you guys with the next one, guys. Peace. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.